All right, guys, we're in our notes. This is section 9.43. In your notes, it might say 9.42 day 2, but it's right here. So we're going to be finding these exact ratios for the trig values below. When I say the secant of 210 degrees, sometimes people give me an answer of 7 pi over 6. That is wrong. But do you know what they're doing when they tell me 7 pi over 6 is this answer? Yeah, all they're doing is telling me another name for this angle of 210 in radians. See, 210 degrees equals 7 pi over 6 radians. Those are the same thing. That's not telling me the secant of that angle. The secant of this angle is going to be r over x. So we can either think of the unit circle or we can use triangles, whichever you're doing the best with. What's the reference angle for 210? 30. So I'm going to do 30. So I'm going to be right here at 30. Now I can also use the first quadrant. Actually, I am going to use the first quadrant. Let's just do the unit circle for the first quadrant. I want to show you how this works. In the first quadrant, this is 1, 0. So what's this point? Look at the pattern, guys. This is radical 4 over 2, so this x value is going to be radical 3 over 2, 1/2. Okay? That's all I need to know, because this is 0, this is 30, that's 45, that's 60, and that's 90. So this is for the 30-degree reference. Do we have a 30-degree reference? Yes. Secant is r over x, or it's 1 over cosine of the angle. Well, right here, this is going to be the cosine of 210. It's going to be, the cosine would be radical 3 over 2. But for 210, is x going to be positive or negative? Negative. That would be cosine. So to find secant, I would have to flip this over. And then what do we have to do with it? Rationalize it. And so we're going to get negative 2 radical 3 over 3. Now, if I wanted to check this answer, everybody go to your calculator. To check this answer, first I have to go to my mode. I've got to make sure that I'm in degrees. To type this in, I have to do 1 divided by the cosine of 210. 1 divided by the cosine of 210 is this. That's what the answer is. Is this exact, though? No, this is just an approximate answer. The exact answer is negative 2 radical 3 divided by 3. Yep, they're the same. All right? But it's asking us to find the exact answer, so that is what we should have for the exact answer. All right. Without a calculator, I want you to try this problem. You can either draw a triangle or use the unit circle. Brooke, do you know what it is? Do you guys agree with negative 2? It's correct. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. I need a 30-degree reference. I already had 30 degrees right here. That's 30-degree reference. So all I have to do is flip that. But which quadrant is this in? Quadrant 4. So therefore, the y value or the sine value there, remember this too, all students take calculus. Sine is only going to be positive in the first and second. So it's going to be negative down there, so therefore it's negative 2. Okay? All right, I'll do the cotangent of 270. We have to use a unit circle on this. So we go to the unit circle, we put a dot here, there's 270. There's 90, 180, 270. This point is what? 0, negative 1. And so therefore, to find the cotangent, it's always x over y. So 0 divided by negative 1 is 0. All right. Let's do just 2 more. Let's do this 4 and 5. You guys try those 2. I'm going to call on some people. All right, let's hear what you think. Nob, did you get number 4? Negative radical 2. Well, let's see if you're right. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So I'm going to go to my mode, I'm going to put my calculator in radians, and I'm going to do 1 divided by the sine of 7 pi over 4. And that's the answer. And you're telling me the answer is negative radical 2. Yep, you are correct. Okay, did you guys get it correct? All right, how about number 5? Number 5. Caitlin, okay, what do you think? Negative radical 3. Anyone else think negative radical 3? Good job, that is correct. Here's the reason why. I went ahead and went to a triangle instead of using the unit circle. It's x over y, so that is correct. Let's go ahead and do this since we already have a picture for it. Do you guys see why this picture actually can be used for this one? It's the same angle. Secant is r over x. What's this going to be? Undefined. Good. All right, guys, we have already done this. I just want to see if you guys can do this even faster. Without drawing pictures, without doing much work, can you come up with these angles? I want you to raise your hand as soon as you think you know this. I'd like you to have it by now. All right, what do you have, Jacob?
Is it 135 degrees and 225?
It is. Were some of you getting there? 225, not 222. Can you talk us through what you were thinking?
Since it's the reciprocal cosine, I knew the x had to be negative, so I figured it had to be in quadrant 2 and 3. So, and since it's a radical 2, it would have to be 45 degrees.
Good. That's perfect. You don't have to go through the whole process. Once he sees a radical 2 on that hypotenuse, he knows it has to be 45 degrees in those two quadrants. So he does 180 minus 45, 180 plus 45. Okay? Make sense? Okay, this one, what do we have to do? Take the square root. So now we have cotangent theta equals plus or minus 1. What is cotangent theta the same as in terms of x, y, and r? It's 1 over tangent, but in terms of x, y, and r. X over y. Can you think where it is that x and y are both 1 and 1? Think of triangles on tangent. It's easier for triangles on tangent. Can you think of what kind of angle we're talking about? What kind of angle is going to have 1 and 1? 45. Can you tell me the 45 degree angles in every quadrant then? Since it's plus or minus, we have to be in every quadrant. Tangent and cotangent are positive here, negative here, so we got to be in all of them. Who can do it? Quickly. All the 45s. Okay, go ahead, Kyle. Say it louder.
45, 135, 225, and 360.
Love it. Perfect. That's how quick we want to get with that. Okay? All the 45s in every quadrant. Okay. Now, look at the difference here. The directions back here said between 0 and 360. The directions here are saying between 0 and 2 pi. So now we're going to have our answers in radians. Okay? In radians. So solving this, cosecant theta is going to have to equal negative 2. Now, instead of using cosecant, I always like to change this back into its other function, its reciprocal function. So I'm going to make this sine theta equals negative 1/2. So now I can just look at my first quadrant. I'm going to go back up here where I did the first quadrant. What is sine the same as, x or y? So this is saying, where is y 1/2? I don't even care about the negative for now. Which of these angles? 0, 30, 45, 60. Which one is it? 30, 45, or 60 that has y as 1/2? 30. So I know I have a 30 degree reference. But I have to be negative. Y has to be negative. Which quadrants are we discussing then? 3 and 4. Y has to be negative. In that quadrant down there, I need a 30 degree reference in that quadrant. So I have to do 180 plus 30, but I have to be in radians. Can you guys go all that way with that? Anybody think they know? Okay guys, let's do it slower. What's 180 plus 30? 210. 30 is the reference. That's pi over 6. So what's 210 with a pi over 6 in it? 7 pi over 6. Good. Okay, I need a 30 degree reference over here. So what's 360 minus 30? Do you know what the angle would be then? 11 pi over 6. See guys, it's a 30 degree reference, so it has to be a 30 here. 180 divided by 6 is 30. 30 times 11 is 330. Okay? You feel like you're getting a little bit faster with it? Okay, take some time. All right, number 10. On this one, I have to subtract 2. I have to divide by radical 3. Now, I am not even going to bother rationalizing this. I'm not going to rationalize it. Because I always like to switch it from being secant to being its reciprocal function. What's the reciprocal function for secant? So I'm going to switch this to cosine. If I take this and make it cosine, I flip it all over. Okay, now find those angles in radians. Okay, this is the last one we're going to do. Find those angles in radians. Ruth, do you have it? No? Kyle?
Okay, well, the first one, 4 pi divided by 6 is equal to 7 pi divided by 6.
I agree with your second one, but not your first one. What's the reference angle if we want x to be radical 3 over 2?
I'm sorry, this one should have been 5 pi.
Oh, I agree now, yes. 5 pi over 6 and 7 pi over 6. Okay? We know it has to be x is radical 3 over 2. That's a 30-degree reference. 30 degrees is pi over 6. See, x is right there. So I knew it had to be pi over 6 times something. 150 is 5 times 30, 7 times 30. Okay? Okay, so you have to make sure you look at this. If it says it like that, you have to have answers with pi in them. If it says it like this, to find the angles in this interval, then you're going to have to make sure you're in degrees. All right, guys, I want you to try 11 all on your own. Okay, guys, I'm hoping you have it by now. Juliet, do you have it?
Is it 5 pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6?
I agree with one of those. What do you think, Connor?
Would it be 7 pi over 6 or 5 pi over 6?
And why do you think it would be that instead of the one she had?
Because that was equal to 10, and that would make it a 30-degree difference from 180.
In which quadrants do we have to have here if we want sine to be negative? Which quadrants is that? Right, so we need to be in 3 and 4. So which quadrant is 5 pi over 6 in? Quadrant 2, okay? So very close. Good job, both of you. Any questions over that? All right, before we do the next part, I want you to practice that a little bit. So we're going to pause here.